Welcome aboard to another episode of OG55. I got Mr. TommyToon in the house. First time on the channel. We're talking all about Disney versus Universal. We also got George the Italiano. We're talking all about this interesting topic that we've been to Universal and Disney very recently together within a few days span. And I kind of want to break down the differences as to these very different theme park companies. There's a lot to dive into. Up next on OG. Oh. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. Yeah, I'm not wearing my glasses, so y'all can talk all your shit, but I'm still not wearing my glasses. I love not wearing glasses. It's a very freeing experience. But it's OG au natural. But George, how have you been today?
Doing good, not too bad. Just going through a very rainy day in the Anaheim area. I actually just got back from, well, not back, but we had a little hiccup with the hotel. That the hotel that I booked was actually the wrong one. So
like the wrong hotel? Like the whole hotel?
Yeah, the whole hotel. So because they were sold out, so I had to hurry up and scramble to rebook another one. So made it in time, but all good, and ready to do this.
All right. Where can everybody find you on social media, George?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And, of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also, please check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, where we take all the good theme park and entertainment of Disney, Universal, right there in vlogging view.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a recent bar chat video over there. Actually, that takes place at City Walk Universal. Really cool stuff. We're talking about the People Mover coming back to Disneyland, which probably never going to happen, but we talked about it. And we also talked about the Dark Universe over at Universal Orlando, all that good stuff. So make sure you check it out. Citrico Central. So you can check that out. It's the sister channel to OG55. TommyToon, first time on the channel, brother. How you doing?
What's up, fellas? Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to talk some theme park news. You could find me at YouTube and X at TommyToon World and on Instagram at TommyToon_.
There he is. Check this man out. Awesome. We did a show, actually, Tommy, together with Mr. Theme Park Conductor.
Yeah.
A couple months ago.
Conductor. I appreciate you for collabing and everything. Maybe we all could get in on a nice video when we're at the parks. Maybe get a food review in.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So thank you for joining, Tommy, and everybody check out TommyToon. I'll link all his socials down below in the description box. So let's talk about Disney versus Universal. Now, I know this is kind of like a heavy topic. There's a lot to discuss here, but George the Italiano and I went to 90s Night, which is an after-hours Disney event last night at Disneyland, and we got some thoughts. We also recently went to HHN at Universal back in, was that end of October? Was that close to Halloween, George, or was that September?
That was, I believe, September.
Okay.
No, October,
right. Okay. So not too long ago. I mean, it was kind of fairly recently. I have so many thoughts. And look, everyone, it's so funny because a lot of people call me a Disney shill, right? They do. Special access OG, right? My opinion on a lot of this stuff might surprise you because it's very pro-Universal. But George, I'll let you start. 90s Night last night, overall thoughts. If you want to compare it to what we experienced with HHN and the events that we've experienced with Universal. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was really, really hyped up about 90s Night. When they first released this event 5 years ago, it was right up my alley. They played all the Disney afternoon music with fireworks and everything. And I was like, oh, man, I really want to go to this. And I said to myself, if they ever bring it back, I will make it my business to go. And they ended up bringing it back. We went last night, and we're also going again tomorrow night, just to do some extra odds and ends that we didn't get to do yesterday. But that's just the thing. What if someone doesn't have that luxury of being able to go 2 times and they only have that one shot to go for that one day? Can you get as much in as you possibly can?
Right.
It really honestly depends on what your interest is. If you're interested in meeting and greeting characters, then let that be your focus. If it's trying different food items, let that be your focus. If you just want to like go partying, go dancing and everything, just, focus on that. So you can never get one thing. You can never get multiple things out of in one event for one night, because it's only a 4-hour event. And, and by the time it actually starts and kicks off, you have to really kind of set a game plan of what you're doing. And the thing with 90s night is I really liked it. I wish I could say I loved it, but I just really liked it. And I think the issue with it was for the amount of the price that you're paying for the ticket, are you really getting your money's worth of having this extraordinary event with all these different things happening? It did in the very beginning, like 5 years ago when they did the 90s night, that looked like a banger of an event. When they did the Star Wars night, first time, Sweethearts night, it just seems now that we're getting like 90s light. And
yes.
And Star Wars light, it's like they're cutting the activities within the event down, but the prices are either staying the same or going up. And I had an issue at the very beginning of the event because I really wanted to meet Darkwing Duck. I never got to see him before, and he's a special rarity character that they only bring out for these kind of these events. And you had to have a wristband to meet him.
But they don't say that though. That's the freaking problem, is that you went over there thinking like, oh, I'm all good. And then you weren't all good. And there was no notification on like the app or anything, right? Like that you needed this wristband.
So the party officially started at 9 p.m. They start weeding people out who isn't part of the event by 8 p.m. They start letting people in around 6, but we were told that they started letting people in at 20 to 6. And again, not knowing, what we needed to do because nothing was announced, they started giving out those wristbands at 7 p.m., 2 hours prior to the event starting. By the time I got there, it was around like 8:30.
Yeah.
All the wristbands were gone.
Yeah.
For the whole entire night. So it took an hour and a half for 4 hours worth of people to be able to meet one character for it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And then Ebba and I and his lovely wife Larissa went to the shop, which is in the former Starcade, and it was only like, I think it was like not even that late. I mean, when you guys went on it was after the parade. I don't even remember when that was. It was pretty early in the evening though. It wasn't like super late or whatever. And all the merch was gone, dude. It was already sold out.
I didn't even know there was any merch. I didn't even get to see any.
Well, there wasn't. You didn't miss anything because you go in there, it's empty. There's nothing in there, dude. Like they didn't stock the shelves. You go in there like very early on in the evening. There was nothing there, bro. And this is the thing. We recently went to HHN. I'm gonna have Tommy chime in a second. But we went to HHN just a few months ago, and it was like a damn near flawless experience. And it was really, really cool the way I thought Universal handled that. Comparison to this after hours event for Disney, it was just like, what are they doing? But Tommy, you've been to Star Wars night. You haven't been to 90s night, but you've been to Star Wars night, and then you've been to HHN. So what's your experience with these two comparisons? If you want to start with with Star Wars night, and we'll kind of go into HHN a little bit.
Sure. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I had to hit it. I had to travel, so I was staying in town a little bit longer, so I went to Star Wars night Tuesday and Thursday. All right. I did that on purpose because I knew I wasn't going to be able to knock everything out. People were really selling it short, saying, oh, there's no fireworks. It's not worth it. don't come. So I understand fireworks, they are top tier at Disney, so that is a negative, not getting that. But I had to hit it. I wanted to try the foods. Italiano, you're right. It is really hard to get everything done in a day. There's no way with that time frame. It's terrible, bro. Like, they let you in a little bit early. I don't know if it's 2 hours early, like you said, like 6 o'clock, but the event doesn't start till 9. I placed the mobile orders for the food on the app, so I was ready to roll. I segmented everything out, figured out when and where I want to do stuff. But the weird thing is I had to plan the timing with the foods next to certain characters too, because I know where the characters are going to be at, but am I going to be able to wait in line for them? I caught a lot of people the first night. The second night, not so much. I did more food, I think, the second night. I really like Star Wars night, but like you said, the price is a little steep because the hours are so cut short. I'm used to being at Disney for like 12 hours, but I love Star Wars night because all the fans and everybody there were just talking about Star Wars. And with me, I like going to events where everybody's fixed on one thing.
Yeah.
Moving forward to HHN, man, it's tough to beat that because you could get early entry going at 5:30.
Yep.
They don't start kicking you out till 1. They don't close down shop till 2. Like, there's hours where I'm chilling in the park. But it's really hard to compare because I feel like HHN was Universal's only night event.
That's true.
And now they're diving into, FanFest, and they're using the same model as HHN. So they thought, okay, don't fix what's not broken. Let's see how this works. I'm just concerned about FanFest because I don't know if there's going to be enough like HHN.
Oh, interesting.
No, really quick, I do have to interject real quick because Tommy, you did bring something up that I do want to make known. I absolutely loved HHN when we went in October. It was an awesome experience. But I also have to mention, too, that we had the highest tier ticket for
That's
HHN.
fair. That's fair, yeah.
So the perception of how well the event could have gone if we had the lowest, because here's the thing, those haunted houses were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Minus the weekend. I'm sorry. I didn't
They should have had a Kendrick house, but yeah. Whatever.
but if I had to wait 3 hours in line to do a haunted house, I'd be like, okay, that was good, but did I really need to wait 3 hours in line for this? But Tommy, going on to what you were saying, that is quite interesting what you're saying about FanFest, because that is something, because with HHN, it's just one focused thing for a long, extensive amount of time for a season, where with FanFest, you have different IPs in smaller outlets for a shorter amount of time. And that is very interesting. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from, Italiano, because, I plan out HHN. I usually do the RIP tour first night. Second night, general admission with early entry. Third night, Express Unlimited with early entry. So I get it, they're giving, Universal's giving their night events options and tiers, when Disney, I think, is just one price point, right? One ticket. Star Wars night, 90s night. You get what you get. There's no VIP, right? There's no lightning lane or anything, right?
Yeah, no. It's just one straight ticket.
Yeah.
Straight price ticket.
Yeah, for 90s night, I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunity. Like, Disney, let me run that shit. I will run it so good. The nerds will love the event. I was telling Webba and his wife, I'm like, what you do is you project Michael Eisner on the castle, and you have him say, hey, hello, I'm Michael Eisner, head of the Walt Disney Company, and then you start this banger 90s fireworks show. The crowd will go nuts.
Well, nerdy
shit like that goes a long way, Disney.
Well, I was actually just talking to Webber earlier, and I said to him, you know what would have been an awesome add-on that would have probably paid for that ticket in itself?
Wow.
If they would have gave us an exclusive show just for the people in the event of the original 90s Phantasmic.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying, George. There's opportunity here. There is so much opportunity. And the people that go to 90s night want to see that. These are not your normal everyday fans, okay?
No.
These are not your, these are the diehards. Give them 90s Phantasmic. Give them Michael Eisner. You know, give them this 90 good, like, for example, perfect example, the Golden Horseshoe. We stop over by the Golden Horseshoe. There's a cutout of the 90s Disney sing-along. I'm thinking we're going into the building to sing along to like 90s stuff. No, it's just the cutout, bro. You just take a picture. That's it. Like Disney, have a sing-along in the Golden Horseshoe where everybody can sing along to these 90s. There's just, it's a no-brainer.
I do know they do have the Disney 90s karaoke.
Where's that?
That was actually, I think that was up at the was that the Fantasyland Theater? But that's, yeah, we actually missed that. It was the 90s karaoke. Susan Egan was there last night.
Okay.
And for everyone who doesn't know, Susan Egan does the voice of Megara in Hercules, and she also was the original Belle in Broadway Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful woman. Yeah, no, absolutely. So they did have a karaoke thing then. Okay.
Yeah, they did. But I do see your point. Like, that would have been cool if they would have had a smaller, like, intimate kind of thing going on in the Golden Horse.
Yeah, exactly. Not too intimate, though. Let's keep it family friendly, George. You know what I'm saying? No, absolutely. I think there's opportunities there. Like, your idea for Phantasmic is an absolute banger. I mean, stuff like that would have gone a long way. Star Wars night, I think there's a lot of stuff you could have done there, too, you know? I don't know. 90s night felt, for me, a little bit on the, like, the Rush side. I mean, did it feel like that for you, George, where it was kind of like... like in the planning,
I feel like there wasn't. It didn't feel rushed to me. It felt like after, it was like trying to find something really to do. Like, it was like once you got like your fix. Like, I wanted to see like the power line with the, as I had mentioned, like with Eye to Eye and Stand Out. A Goofy movie was it is still one of my all-time favorite Disney films. I'm sorry, it is.
Well, and that album, bro, stands shoulder to shoulder with Boys to Men. Like the Goofy movie in the 90s. That soundtrack is an absolute R&B like banger, like hands down. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. I apologize.
No, it's good. And I actually was telling Tommy before the recording, but I will mention it here on the show, that I had a very awesome experience that when we were over at Galactic Grill and I was sitting down, I was eating my taco fries and right next to me was Bill Farmer. And for all of you who don't know who Bill Farmer is, he is the voice of Goofy.
There you go. That's him.
So I got to talk to him for a little bit. He was there for 90s night and also to promote a new documentary that's coming onto Disney Plus April 7th. It's basically a behind the scenes kind of look of a Goofy movie, which I'm very excited to experience. So, and then he did a little bit of the Goofy voice for us and everything. I got my picture taken with him. Very, very sweet guy. Very humbling. Like I said, I'm so very sorry to bother you. And he said, no, not at all. You're fine. He's just like, I just don't want to draw too much attention because I don't want a line starting to like, come up. But he was very, very gracious, very nice. And I thought it was so appropriate that if you had to meet Bill Farmer, it had to be at 90s night at Disneyland.
Oh, dude. I miss the old school, like Disney afternoon cartoons. Back when Disney had like, the problem with, I don't want to digress too far, but the problem with a lot of Disney content, like cartoons nowadays, they don't have anything to do with Disney. It's a lot of like back then they utilized Disney characters in the animated shows. You know what I'm saying? And now, not a lot of that. You don't have a lot of like Goofy or like Mickey. I don't know. I feel like it was different back then, you know, and it was handled differently. Like, what's the new Disney TV stuff now? Even
I
like,
couldn't even tell you. Really, the only thing that I know is like the reboot of like Phineas and Ferb.
yeah, but that's not even like. Oh, see, that's why I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to get like younger people upset. You know what I'm saying? But that is that. See, back in the day, Disney would actually take Disney characters though and utilize them in their animation, like Goofy.
I mean, well, that was like heavy overdrive, even with House of Mouse, because they utilized like every Disney character imaginable.
Yeah, and it's still not on Disney Plus, still to this day. So yeah, TommyToon, like your thoughts on all of that. What do you think, brother?
All that in a bag of chips.
There you go.
Well, man, I'm mad that I missed it, but I'm happy you guys got to go to 90s night because, man, like you said, Goofy movies definitely like top 3 animated Disney movies of all time, at least coming from me because, you know, I was born in 88. You guys could do the math.
88? Dude, you look way. I thought you were like more of like 98 kind of guy, bro. You look good. You look good.
Thanks, man. Thanks, yeah. Nice shirt, though. You got the Goofy movie shirt on right now. Oh, man.
Courtesy of this guy.
Oh.
He was like, hey, bro, they only have one 90s shirt at World of Disney, but it's pink. I'm like, get it.
Solid. Solid. That's what I'm talking about. I'm cool with what you said. Like, it's weird. Going into 90s night, you said maybe you guys felt rushed or trying to find something to do.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like that at Star Wars night unless I really hunkered down and followed the order of my list, my to-do list. Because you could get sidetracked and then all your time is gone. It's hard, especially if you're trying all the foods. Mm-hmm. It takes a while. Like, I wanted to ask both of you guys, what was your top food items, and then what was like the worst? My food or drink, yeah.
My top food item, actually, I just mentioned it, was the taco fries. Like I could have ordered like 3 of those, and I would have been good for the rest of the night. The one dish that I was disappointed with was the orange chicken, which was the most popular. Abby put that order in on the app. We had to wait 2.5 hours to go pick it up. And this thing, there was only like 4 pieces of chicken on it with rice. And the chicken, literally, when they say orange chicken, they weren't kidding. It was orange chicken. It tastes like you were biting into it like an orange peel.
Do you think that's why they call it orange chicken? I just fuck with you. No, I completely understand what you're saying. I completely understand.
But this orange chicken, it was so zesty. Like it tasted like cleanser. Like it was just like I think they ran out of it because I noticed they had chopped grilled chicken in there as well. Where I think I don't know why they would, but I think they started running out of chicken. That's why our dish looked anemic because they didn't have enough food. And I'm like, it was okay, but it was like we waited 2.5 hours just to get this dish.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Like I had a corn dog on Main Street, which is pretty much like standard Disneyland kind of thing. It's not even like 90s night exclusive, right? A+. And actually, shout out to the cast member. I forgot her name. I actually, it was kind of funny. Like I was picking up my corn dog and I said, hey, where can we get the mustard? And she was cracking up. I'm like, hey, she's awesome. She got it. But I had that, and then I had a pretzel at an ODV cart. I didn't really have any like 90s food offerings, so unfortunately.
Really? And then who got the popcorn bucket? Who got the Powerline popcorn bucket?
That was me.
Holy moly, that thing looks crazy. I was checking eBay. There was only one on there. It's going for like 85 already.
Wow. Jeez. I should have picked up 2.
We're not scalpers though, right? We don't want to jip people too much, right?
Yeah, that's $85, man.
Right.
And how much was it? Like 35 probably?
But here's the thing. Yeah, it was like 33 and change, like with tax. But here's the thing though. When someone puts something on that's overly priced than what it is, Like, you can kind of say, okay, that's kind of shitty and all that, but honestly, it's the people that would spend that shit to actually get it. It's like they'd spend $85 for that popcorn bucket.
Right.
It's like, oh man, like, why do you do that to yourself? But hey, you know, you love what you love. But I mean, I couldn't. I mean, if something was like decently priced, but I couldn't like overspend on something. Like if something was like $20 and someone was selling it for like 250, like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not spending $250 on a $20 item.
I was born at night. I was not born last night. Okay. So you will not get me buying an $85 popcorn bucket from Disneyland. No.
No, but imagine if you don't live in California, there's no 90s night anywhere else, right?
True.
And then they're going to bring it to the parks eventually, like for everyone to buy, but you know how
I do wish though, I got my popcorn bucket. That was like the last thing that we did of the night, was picking up the popcorn bucket. I wish I would have decided to get it earlier, because had I would have had it, I would have had Bill Farmer sign it.
Oh, George!
No.
Yeah.
How crazy that would be worth $250. You know what I mean, right? Priceless.
The eBay, yeah, you would have made a lot of money, George. A lot of money. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Now I want to pivot a little bit to like more generalized Disney versus Universal. So lately, I've actually been having like a crazy good time at Universal, and I think a lot of that, to be fair to Disney, a lot of that is due to the fact that I think Universal is like the shiny new object for me, right? And so, you know, it's not necessarily Disney doing something wrong. It's just like Universal's like newer for me, right? But I do think there is something to be said about the Universal experience. I do think there's a lot to offer there. And like I was telling these guys pre-show, like even like the little things, like I did like a solo trip on Sunday. I got this right here, little butterbeer mug right here. And I got this right here, this Jurassic World mug right here. And
dude, you're gonna lose your special access. Your backdrop's gonna be all Universal.
I'm telling you, bro, Dana Walden's not gonna be happy with me. You know what I'm saying? Dana Walden will not be happy with OG. But like, you know, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, right? So I went and got a locker over on like the I don't know what it's officially called. I guess like the Buena Vista Street of Universal Hollywood, and there's lockers right there, right when you get in, right? Oh my God, you guys, super easy. Like you scan I have an annual pass to Universal. I scanned my annual pass, and that, like, your locker is connected now to your annual pass. So you go in there, you do the touch screen, you scan your annual pass, boom, bada bing, it opens, right? I love that. There's no passcode. There's none of that stuff. Very, very easy. Now, George and I were at 90s night last night. George was kind enough to get me a locker because I had work and I had to come later in the day. That whole process is like, well, you got to get the locker number and the passcode and this and that. Universal, with a lot of their stuff, whether it's Express Pass, whether it's the locker situation, whether it's a lot of these operational things, they just handle it much better. And that's sad to me because I am a Disney person first, obviously. Like, I love Disney, you know, but like Universal's been stepping the game up. And George, even on Saturday, man, in the morning, we went to, what was that place called? Wasabi, the sushi place.
Wasabi. Yep.
Right? Waited, like it was probably like 11:30 in the morning. So to be fair, it was pretty early. Waited 0 minutes. Got in there. Exceptional service, right? And I'm going to get to this in a second because there's actually more that happens the next day. But exceptional service, we walk right in. Boom. The next day, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually going to go to Universal again because my pass was going to expire. I'm going to go again, like a solo trip the next day. I go the next day, same time, around 11:30 or 12, and the waiter recognized me. And he's like, hey, bro, you were here yesterday. I'll give you a 25% discount.
It was the hair.
It was the hair. Exactly. It was the hair. Exactly. And so he was like, I recognize you. I'll give you 25%. Usually we like require like the receipt or whatever, but I recognize you. So it's all good. Dude, 25%. I mean, just because I was here yesterday is crazy. That night, though, Saturday night, we went to Antojitos, the Mexican place, with your lovely fiance, Abigail. Shout out to Abigail, who's in the back. I can see her on the pillow. Same thing. Dude, we didn't wait even 5 minutes. And it wasn't like it wasn't busy. Like, that place was pretty busy. Like, Universal, like, dude, you go to Din Tai Fung and see how long you wait at downtown Disney. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they do over there at Universal. It's not like it's dead because there's people there, but they manage their crowds and their operations, I think, better. I don't know. What are your thoughts, George? You were there with me on Saturday. We went to Wasabi. We went to the Mexican place afterwards. Am I off base? Am I shilling for Universal? Is Brian Roberts going to give me special access? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, after that speech, I'm for sure he probably will. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Brian.
But I feel like that, you know, one can argue to say there is a lot more demand for a product of Disney, because when you hear the term Disney, you know, everyone's like, okay, that's the top-notch quality, you know, it's on Disney property, so it has to be good. You know, Disney owns it, so it has to be good. You know, not saying that Universal doesn't have that, but I feel like there's a bigger fan base when it comes to the term Disney as opposed to Universal. Now, being there with OG and everything at both of the restaurants, being at City Walk, in the park, it definitely wasn't dead. You know, there were crowds of people there. But I feel like with Disney, I feel like they kind of shoot themselves in the foot, so to speak, where they kind of overpower of complicating things where it doesn't have to be. Yeah. For instance, like going back with meeting Darkwing Duck with the wristbands and everything. Does that mean that they oversold on the event? You know, does that mean that they overbooked something? When it comes to restaurant reservations, same thing. We were actually, Abby and I were just at Disneyland earlier today. We went for a couple hours because our room wasn't ready at the hotel that we were not staying at.
Yeah, typically that happens. Usually your room isn't ready when you're not staying there. I find that usually the case, George.
Yeah, basically. But we went to Cafe Orleans to see if there was a walk-up, because there wasn't no one there today, I guess, due to the weather. Indiana Jones was a walk-on, very light crowds. So we thought, but when I went on the app for Cafe Orleans, it said no reservations available. Wow. And I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of hard to believe. Right. That the park is light, but there's no reservations. It's like, why? So we went up to the podium, the kiosk, and said, do you have any available walk-ups? They said, sorry, we don't. Due to the weather, we had to close off half of our establishment, so we're only taking reservations ahead of walk-ins. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So it's like, but they're making themselves lose business that way. It's like, why would you do that? Why overcomplicate something? Right. Because it strikes a demand with the diehards to say, oh my God, it's like so hard to get in that restaurant. We got to go for it. But it's like, why wouldn't Disney just open up more reservations and just accept however many they can get, and then you then acquire more revenue? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird. So what was that in regards to? Because I know Cafe Orleans has a lot like outdoor seating. So is that because of outdoor seating and no one wants to sit in the rain, or is that?
Yeah, it was more. Yeah, because they had partial of it open that was like underneath the roof of the building, but the rest was completely out. And I don't know what was going on inside. So I mean, did they have available tables, but because you couldn't see it, that they just said, hey, you know what, we're only accepting people with reservations? But I didn't really see too many people going in there for reservations. So
yeah, it's crazy. Disney does like to overcomplicate things. The Darkwing Duck situation was so unnecessary. Let people just wait in line. Let them wait in line and just do it the old school way. And like you would have waited. Like George was all about this. Like George would have waited.
I wanted to meet Darkwing Duck. I mean, I wouldn't have waited like 3 hours in line, but I mean, if it was like
2 hours and 55 minutes, probably.
Yeah, maybe 250. Yeah, maybe 250. No, maybe like 45 minutes or something. Like I probably would have waited, but the fact that I got there at 8:30, a half hour before the event even started, and they said that they were all sold out by they started that at 7 p.m.
It's crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. What's your experience, Tommy?
Yeah, that's not fair to me because, like you said, you go there and you expect a certain thing. So I'm wondering if they should do Darkwing Duck like how they do Darth Vader, how they just have them, like they do Oogie Boogie when they just have the characters kind of talking, walking back and forth on the stage, and people are just walking by. Did they have any of those types at the 90s night? Because maybe they could do that with Darkwing so they don't have to give out wristbands.
It's funny that you actually say that because when I was talking to Webba earlier, he said, and actually after he brought it to my attention, he was actually right. I don't actually even remember seeing any of the characters. Like briefly, I saw Monterey Jack in Toontown at the very end of the night when we were going to pick up my popcorn bucket.
Right.
We saw Belle and Beast kind of going into the backstage area when their meet and greet was over. But I never got to see them standing out. So they have all these characters in their selected spots, but we never really actually saw them of their actual locations. Now, it's funny, just 5 years ago when they did have Darkwing Duck out, they had him out on Main Street, and they just had a simple, regular line. And as far as I know, that went all smoothly. I feel like once they start getting complicated with things, and it's like, oh, you need a wristband. Oh, you need a virtual queue. Oh, you need a this. You need a that. It's like just put up the string, the wire, or whatever you want to call it, the rope, and just let people just walk through a line, get a picture.
Right.
It's like it shouldn't.
Well,
you're not asking for a picture with the Beatles.
No, exactly. Well, the thing I had an issue with too was a lot of the stuff. Here's the dilemma that Disney has. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Where it's okay, so you have Beauty and the Beast, right? Which is I've always said this. It's a timeless franchise where it's that movie, I think, is just as relevant today as it was in 1991 when it premiered. You have a show like Fantasmic, which is just as relevant today as it was when it premiered in 1992. George, am I mistaken? 92?
91.
91. Okay, so Beauty and the Beast and Fantasmic 91. Okay. Yes, they technically premiered in...
I'm sorry. You were right. 92.
92. So 91 and 92. So you have these two things, Beauty and the Beast, the movie, and Fantasmic, which premiered in the early 90s. So yes, technically Disney, you're right. These are 90s properties. The problem, though, is that these properties are still very much in the pop culture awareness, right? So they don't feel like 90s properties. They don't feel like it. Like Disney Afternoon does, because those things were very 90s and they haven't really made a comeback. Darkwing is still very much a 90s thing because they haven't done anything with them. You know what I'm saying? Tailspin, all this stuff is very 90s.
Right. I mean, at the end of Fantasmic, they have them all on the Mark Twain, right? All coming out. You see Beauty and the Beast. Everybody, Darkwing's not on there. Powerline's not on there. No. So, I mean, we're seeing all these characters every night, but not the exclusive 90s ones. So
and Webba even mentioned that too when I mentioned Belle and Beast, and he's like, yeah, they are part of the 90s. That's great. But we get to see them on a regular basis. You know, it's let's have the characters. And I said, that is very true. Let's bring out the gummy bears. Let's bring
Come on. Yes, please.
And it was let's have those kind of 90s.
Yes. Those characters are synonymous with the 90s. And I feel like Beauty and the Beast is still very relevant. I mean, the 2017 movie with, what's her name?
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson.
Emma Watts. Yes, thank you, Emma Watson. That movie made $1 billion less than a decade ago. That franchise is very much alive and well today. Fantasmic, very much alive and well today. Even Aladdin, things like that. Like those aren't like yes, they're technically 90s, but they're not. I don't know, man. I think there could have been a lot of other things they could have done. Like I said, you do that Michael Eisner thing. Hello, a Michael Eisner, head of the Walt Disney Company. You project him onto the castle, the crowd would go insane. You have no idea. Like the nerds, like George and I would have been fucking going nuts, dude. That's the kind of thing. You lean into the nerdy 90s. These animated films are timeless. They're still relevant. It's like having 50s night and having a Cinderella thing. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It doesn't really feel right? I don't know. It just feels
like
weird.
If you're going to do something for the 1950s, like turn back time and like show Disneyland of how it looked in the 50s.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. Like, hey, you're going to what Dapper Day in April?
Dapper Day on April 13th.
April 13th. But who's counting, right, George? April 13th? Are you sure? Are you sure it's not April 14th? I don't know. but how serious is this? But like, yes, lean into that 1950s kind of like opening day kind of vibe, you know? Like you have Alice in Wonderland on Dapper Day or like the 1950s thing. It feels weird, right? So I don't know. That's kind of where I stand with it. I think a lot of Disney movies are timeless. So when you sort of attribute them to like the decade they were birthed in or premiered in, it feels weird to me because they never really left. You know, now there's certain properties like Roger Rabbit, you know, if you want to do 80s night and have Roger Rabbit, that makes sense because Roger Rabbit is very much a relic at this point. Okay, that makes sense, you know. But Little Mermaid on 80s night would feel weird because she's still very relevant. She's still a thing.
They already messed the event up right out the gate. If it was 90s night, those tickets should have been 90s prices.
Oh, George, you really want to fuck up our special access, bro? Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me, dude? Yeah, that's crazy. No, absolutely. Ignore him, Bob. Yeah, he doesn't mean what he says. No, but yeah, that's the wild thing to me. But yeah, Universal is doing a really good job. I think FanFest, I'm very curious how that goes because I think Back to the Future is a great franchise, which I want to see more of. Universal, please. We'll kind of see how that goes and going forward with the Universal properties. But I don't know. Right now, I feel like, and again, mind you, I'm a little bit more Disneyed out because I'm such a Disney guy. So Universal feels like the shiny new thing. So I want to be fair. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to like crap on Disney like totally. But I feel like Universal right now is kind of hitting all the marks a little bit better than Disney is, you know, with some of this stuff, you know. So we'll see.
So if you're mentioning night events for both parks, I feel like people can get intimidated by both of them. So yeah. I could be intimidated by Disney because I'll walk in, get my lanyard, and then not know what to do. I could look at the map and be like, oh man, I got till 12 or 1. It's crunch time. When I go to HHN, like you said, George, earlier, depending on the ticket you have,
yeah,
you could be only hitting 4 out of the 8 houses. That's only half.
That's true.
Right. So it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, right, Tommy. Like we had the Abigail. She got us like the what's it called, George? The top tier. I don't know the name of it.
Express Unlimited.
Was it that one?
Or is it the RIP tour?
No, it wasn't
Express Unlimited. I think
it was Express Unlimited.
Yeah, and that I think gave us a better experience because we didn't wait for anything, bro.
Right.
But
So that
if we were
will give you a better experience, right? It will give you a better experience when you're going to FanFest. They're doing the same thing. It's all tiered out, the same thing. You get VIP. You could do Express Unlimited. The only thing I'm a little worried about is Express Unlimited for FanFest because we're not going through 8 houses. We're going through 2 houses. We're going through Dungeons and Dragons and Star Trek. Everything else is... So One Piece is a meet and greet. The Jujutsu Kaisen is just in the DreamWorks Theater. It's a show, like on the screen. Then they haven't really mentioned any show that's going to go in Waterworld, so I'm a little nervous on that. But the one cool thing is, you know, we're going to go into Super Nintendo World, and you're going to have the Yoshi Egg Hunt. And you're going to see... Right. You'll see the green Yoshi, but then when you complete the Egg Hunt, the pink and blue and purple or whatever, there's going to be 2 or 3 more Yoshis waiting for you at the end.
Oh, dope, dude.
Right. So different opportunities than HHN, but will it be worth the money? I'm really excited to see and curious what people think about this. Because, people were thinking it was going to be, Dungeons and Dragons this night, Star Trek this night, Back to the Future this night. No, it's all going on at once. So if you don't like something, tough luck. You're still paying just to go see Back to the Future, even though you get One Piece and stuff. You know what I mean? So
You're right.
Back to the Future, that covers the studio tour. So we know that's covered on that end. I'm just, like I said, I'm curious to see if people spend.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, are you going to FanFest, Tommy?
Yeah, so I'm doing a whole chain of events. I'm coming out there for Disney's 70th. I'll be there opening day. So hopefully I can lock in with both you guys. I know I'll be there with Conductor, hopefully Wizard.
Yeah, you'll definitely see me there. Yeah, I'm actually locked in already for May 16th for the kickoff of the 70th. And I'm also locked in for the 17th because I realized, because they're going to do Paint the Night and World of Color Happiness, and I thought, oh shit, I'm not going to try to exert myself in doing both at the same time. I'm like, I'm going to do one Paint the Night, one World of Color the 17th.
Absolutely. Now, Tommy, when you say you're coming down here, you're not a Californian? I thought you were a California guy.
Oh, man, so I'm in the Bay Area. So I have to drive 6 hours, and I'm not going to fly. I usually fly to Vegas and everywhere else. I'm just going to cruise down, have my car. Going to do Disney 70th, 16th, and 18th. The 17th, I'm going to do FanFest nights at Universal. Knock all those out. So, hey, George, for the 70th, I should get Park Hopper, right?
Are you planning on doing Paint the Night and World of Color in the one day?
Right, that's what I'm wondering. You think there's going to be 70th stuff at DCA or just Disney?
See, that's the tough thing. That's the tough part because a lot of times they say just focus on Disneyland, but you never know if they just happen to want to throw something in there at DCA. I mean, it wouldn't hurt for you to get a Park Hopper, to be honest with you. It's like, just in case, if anything, then you could just, jump right over,
Right. So I'm excited to do that. I'm definitely. So you said you're going there the 17th as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I may have to see how that's going because I'm going to hit Universal that night, but maybe I'll be able to catch you for sure. If not, lock in on the 16th for sure and knock some stuff out.
16th, yep. Oh yeah, I'll be there opening day because getting a lot of content and footage for Citrico Central. So got to be there for the first day for the kickoff of the 70th, and then we're also going back on July 17th, which is actually Disneyland's birthday. And that's the premiere of the Walt animatronic show in the Lincoln Theater. How
cool is that? So you're going back just for that, right? That's so crazy.
That's
going to
be something to see. For Disneyland's actual birthday. And then they do also a little cavalcade on Main Street, and they sing Happy Birthday to Disneyland and everything. So it's always nice. It's very simple, but it's like sometimes the simplest things are just like it creates a major impact, to be there for the actual 70th of Disneyland's birthday, and then the Walt animatronic. And then plus they also said that after the show, they're at like in the exit area, they're going to showcase a lot of maybe concept art or stuff that is for Disneyland Forward in the future of Disneyland. So hopefully we can get some more info on Pandora and Coco and all that stuff, because Lord knows we're still waiting in the wings here.
Yeah, man, we need that Coco ASAP, man. California Adventure is flooded with Latinos and Latinas. This is all we are in LA, man. We need some Coco, man. They got it. They bring them out. They do that little show, especially for like the Day of the Dead and stuff. But man, we need some Coco themed stuff ASAP. That movie's pretty top tier.
Oh, top tier, absolutely. I've been saying it for a long time too, Tommy. Like you have a whole park based on California. Latin culture is a huge part of California. Let's get it done. And that's why I really want the Coco boat ride. I don't know. A lot of fans are thinking it's going to go into Pixar Pier, and I'm like, you know what? Not good enough, fam. Like I want Coco to like really shine in this park. I want to see a Mexican village as like the lead up to that dark ride. I don't want it to be shoehorned over there next to the freaking Incredicoaster or something.
Right.
Yeah, come on. Let's do better. Let's do better, Disney. You know what I'm saying? Like Latin culture is such a huge part of the state. Like, let's really give it all it's worth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope they don't do that. I hope they actually give it a proper area. Go into Hollywoodland, bulldoze half of that, and do your Mexican village. Do whatever you gotta do, Disney. But come on, it's Latin culture, California. Let's get it done, baby. Let's get it done. You know. So
Let's
I
get
agree
it
with
done.
you,
I mean, that's the park you walk around with alcohol too. I mean, we could be kicking it with those yellow cups, doing it live. You know.
Speaking of which, too, I wanted to bring that up because you had mentioned like with like that's the park that
like
has,
yellow cups,
alcohol and the yellow cups and because I went to opening day for Food and Wine, and I was also there for Lunar New Year. And I've noticed that I'm glad that DCA has its own identity. Aside from Disneyland, it's its own, where it's like they have these festivals and events and all that stuff. But the problem with it is the location of where they have these booths is DCA was not built for these festivals and events, because when they first built the park, they didn't have that in mind.
right?
Now they're shoehorning these events and festivals in a park that the walkways and the paths don't fit well for these. So how do you fix that, Disney? Well, I mean, you do have a parking
Westcott.
lot. You do have a parking lot down the road that is subject for a third gate. And what can you possibly do with a third gate? I don't know. Dedicate the entire park to something of like for festivals, events, drinking around the world. I mean, sort of like an Epcot style, but west side Epcot. And what do we call that? It's something called Westcott.
Yeah, exactly. I think our good friend Mustard has some words on that.
I ain't got nothing to say but West Side.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I've said that same thing, George, where like we need like a Westcott in the Toy Story lot, because I think that is where you put the festivals. That's where you put all this stuff. DCA wasn't really, whether or not they wanted to do the festivals in DCA initially or not, I mean, it really isn't laid out right for it. It clutters the parade route and things like that. If you purpose built a park like Westcott for those festivals, Disney, come on, you're sleeping on that money, man. Like, you can do so much with that money. Like, Westcott would be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that World Showcase park would bring it in, you know, but we'll see. I don't think they're going to do Westcott. I really don't. There's just not enough IP there, I guess, for it, unfortunately. So, yeah, we'll see.
I just think if a lot of people drink enough, you know, you can imagine whatever you want.
Well, yeah, exactly. Beer is an IP, technically, right? So, you know, well, it's an IPA. There we go. There we go. But TommyToon, it's awesome having you on. Friend of the channel for a very, very long time. We will have you on again very, very soon, brother. I appreciate you coming on, taking the time to do this. If you can remind everybody where they can find you on social media, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Orange Grove, and George the Italiano. Thank you for having me on. I look forward to coming back on. I got to get you on my channel. Got to get some food reviews for the 70th. We could do some hit or misses for Instagram and knock those out. So you can find me at YouTube and X at TommyToon World, and then Instagram, TommyToon_. I'm trying to gain the followers on Instagram. I'm getting there slowly.
Yeah. No, I feel you. It's hard out there for us dudes on Instagram, bro. We don't got a lot of stuff that a lot of other creators have on their Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you, bro. I feel you. I'm going through the same problem. But yeah, absolutely. TommyToon, make sure you follow and support him. I will link all his socials in the description box down below. Mr. Italiano, no shortage of there, right, Drew? You got where can they find you on social media, George?
Yes, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also, please check out my new YouTube channel, sister channel to Orange Grove 55, Citrico Central, where we cover all in-park vlogs with Disney, Universal, soon to be SeaWorld, Knott's, and of course, Abby and I also do our food reviews, and we basically rate them by yucks and yums.
There it is. And make sure you check out, we're going to do a great SeaWorld vlog on Citrico Central, ranking the SeaWorld smells, where we're analyzing the penguin Baducci smell. No, I'm just kidding. No, really gross. I'm sorry. But no, absolutely check out Citrico Central. We actually have a great conversation at City Walk about Disney, Universal, all that good stuff over there. And if you go to my homepage, Orange Grove 55, you will see he is featured as one of the featured channels. So check it out and subscribe to him. So thank you so much for watching this episode of OG 55. And until the next time, see you later.
Thank you for watching OG 55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.